Hello. So for today, we are doing an assignment called the 6-word memoir. An example here by the author Ernest Hemingway is For Sale, Baby Shoes Never Worn. Now think about that for a moment. It's 6 words, but it conjures up this incredible emotion of a couple who, in preparation for their newborn, went out and bought clothing, some shoes, and then it never happened. 6 words create that pain, that emotion in your chest that hurts. It's amazing, isn't it? Ernest Hemingway's story lies in the multiple questions and possible meanings that lie between the lines. Why is the narrator selling these shoes? Is the baby grown? Did she die? Is the story about the end of childhood, the end of parenthood, the end of innocence, justice, happiness? You can pause here for a second and think about it again. And then when you're ready, we can continue on. Now, in Schoology, I have posted these 2 videos. What I want you to do is, on your leisure, when you're trying to create your own 6-word memoir, take some time to look through both of these videos, and it will give you an idea of what you have the power to create. Now, please watch those videos, and then when you're done, continue watching this lecture. I have some questions that I am going to have you answer on the next slide. You will have your own copy of this available in Schoology, and I want you to answer the questions on this blank slide here. So these are the questions. After seeing some examples of 6-word memoirs, what surprises you about this art form? What's the difference between a story and a memoir? Why do we tell stories? And who knows your story best but you? How is it both possible and impossible to distill the essence of who you are into 6 words? Okay, after you've answered those questions, you'll put them here. This will be part of your grade. I want you to move on to pre-writing. In the space below, I want you to brainstorm some different possibilities for your own 6-word memoir. Now, I'll actually do this as an example, if it will load. So some examples that I could go with. Let's see. I fell to a river. My wedding day. Opening night of Avengers Endgame. All 3 of those would be great ideas to distill into a 6-word memoir. Technically, Time I Fell into a River works, but it's not as poetic as Hemingway's work, so I wouldn't use that. I'm actually going to erase those examples so you have the space to brainstorm for your own copy. Okay. And I promise after today, my videos should be much smoother because I will have a much more powerful computer to work from. Fingers crossed. So, after you've brainstormed a little, here's some tips. Show, don't tell. Concrete words. Use specific, strong words. 16 years with pencil in hand. And descriptions of actions. Woke up, fell asleep, missed bus. Can help drive home the main idea of your memoir. Like I said in the last slide, my idea of time I fell into a river doesn't really tell you anything other than that I fell into a river once. At the end of this, I'm actually going to write a 6-word memoir about that time, and it will tell you a lot more. Scramble your sentences. Experiment with sentence structure. Look, I'm an ELA teacher. I'm going to harp on y'all a lot about proper sentence structure this year, but especially when you are creating art like a 6-word memoir, don't be afraid to change the order of a sentence. Maybe write your sentence in Yoda speak. It might come out amazing. Split infinitives like the famous Star Trek additive to boldly go where no man has gone before. Play around with your word order. For example, the story saved me from reality is communicated more clearly when it is broken into 2 sentences. Suffered from reality, period. Stories saved me. Much more powerful than that first sentence. Also, don't forget to play with, I'm sorry, that's being blocked by this little thingy here. Don't forget to play with the punctuation. Bang! Ow! Story of my life. I relate to that one on a spiritual level because I can't tell you how many times I've tripped over thin air or into my bed or dresser. I have a lot of scars and nicks on my feet. Okay, next one. Another way. You can use figurative language. Don't be afraid to use similes or metaphors or hyperbole. This can give your work more life. For example, school, 12 years of hard work. Can be even better when you make it a metaphor. Sentenced to 12 years of school. And please use your voice, not somebody else's. I want to hear you, the creative person I know you are, come out in these. Doctor, I want to be a T-Rex and fishing long into the starry night. Both of those sound so unique. Sometimes honesty is the best policy. Some of the best memoirs are brutally honest. My high-top fade trampled my adversaries. I am Iron Man, minus the armor. Revise, revise, revise. Don't settle for the first thing you write. The first thing I wrote about that river story was the time I fell in a river. Promise you at the end it's going to sound much better. There's no secret in writing. There's no fairy. As much as writers like to write poetically about their muses or the things that give them their inner meaning, it's not real. Writing is a skill. It is something you work at over and over and over again until you're good. Stephen King didn't just start typing at a typewriter one day and come out with a 1,000-page novel that sold millions of copies. No, instead, he worked. In fact, his first novel wasn't published properly. He had to cut 400 pages out because the publishers didn't like it, and eventually he was able to go back, fix it, and make it better. You need to work at this craft because that's what it is. Just like you would work at an instrument, just like you work at playing Fortnite, just like you work at being a mechanic, every skill is something you have to work at. Now, here's another pause in the video. We're going to pre-write. Instead of writing down ideas, I want you to write down words, one word. So, for example, since I've already talked about it, I would write down the word river. But I'm also going to write down the word book because a book is essential to the story. Pause here to write your own ideas down. Okay. Some more ideas you can do for this are making synonyms. So I'm probably still going to use the word river, but don't be afraid to look for stronger words than what you're writing. You only have 6 words, so the stronger the word, the better. Don't put angry. put epileptic. Don't put hatred, put loathing. Don't put bored, put despondent. They're much stronger words and it makes your sentences stronger. We'll work on synonyms all year, but it's a good technique. Focus. Choose one focus word from your memoir for which you will explore possible synonyms. Pause here to make a list of synonymous words. So, river, lake, tributary, pond, etc. Probably misspelled tributary, maybe. No? Okay. I make mistakes too, just letting you know. Okay, finally, I'm going to skip this slide and we're going to go on to the publish slide. As you saw in those videos, some of the appeals of the 6-word memoir is the font and style that you put with it. You are going to publish your 6-word memoir on this slide, and then we are going to show them to the rest of the class Friday and Monday. Please choose an appropriate font or handwriting for the mood and tone of your memoir, and choose an image. Please note that this assignment is due Friday, August 28th. And as promised, I am going to write my 6-word memoir. So, eyes on book fell in river. I'm going to harp on this story a lot because it's one of the most traumatic things that happened to me. But when I was a freshman in high school, went on a cross-country trip to Colorado, and I got lost from my group reading a book, didn't care that I got lost, kept reading, and eventually fell in a river. It was very traumatic. My book went flying. I never found it again, and I hit my knee on a giant boulder, got a gash in it, and I was struggling to hold on to a rock for about 5, maybe 10 minutes, screaming bloody murder for my dad to pick me up. That much emotion isn't quite in that line yet, so maybe I need to fix it. So let's see. Let's try distracting book, semicolon, almost died in river. I like that. I feel like that's a little bit stronger. I still have the idea of a book distracting me. I have the fact that I almost died because the previous one just says I fell in river, but this adds that death that I almost died. So your assignment is to create your own 6-word memoir and add a photo. I didn't add one yet, so I'm going to add one right now. Just click insert, image, search from red, and then add an image. Ooh, that looks just like the river I fell into. And make sure it doesn't cover your memoir. And that's it. You're done. Have a great day.